Hi guys, I'm back. What's with the lightning? Anyway, I'm sorry about that, but I don't care now. First of all, a quick status update. I'm still sober and I am stable as a rock. And you know what, guys? Maybe these videos made it seem easy because I didn't relapse. And it was actually smooth sailing, to be honest, more or less, except for emotional disorder the first couple of days especially. I've been feeling great and it's just been progressively better day by day. But let me tell you, it hasn't been like that. I've been trying to quit weed for a long time and I had so many setbacks. I would relapse constantly. And I want to share now with you how I managed to stay sober this time. Someone posted in the comments that he can't make it past the 24 hours. And I think it's a common problem with weed. At first, it's rather easy to quit. The challenge is to stay sober. Weed is very insidious, so once you've been sober for a while, and even if it's only been 24 hours, you feel that, all right, I got this. I'm actually not that addicted. I can stay sober, so why can't I now have a joint? But it's a trap. It's just your mind playing tricks with you. You want to rid yourself of this substance, and that takes time. It takes weeks for cannabis to leave your system and for the full effect of sobriety to actually kick in. Things like depression, lethargy, bad sleep, stomach issues. You really have to stay sober. How to make it past the first week? Number one, you really have to want it. I think that's quite obvious. So it's you and you alone have to really not want to smoke weed anymore. So there's many people who can smoke weed occasionally and be fine with that, or even daily and not have a problem not wanting to stop. But you're obviously not one of them, because otherwise why would you watch this video? I think it all boils down to your ambitions, what your goals in life are, and who you think you are. Personally, I don't want to be addicted or used to a substance which I use daily or want to use daily. I also don't want to occasionally take a substance that makes me lazy, affects my focus. So that's something I'm just not okay with. That's why I really wanted to stop. You have to rid yourself of all the paraphernalia, of all your cannabis. You delete your dealer's numbers, you tell your friends, like you remove it out of your life. That's really very important, because at the beginning you will lack the strength to actually say no with conviction if someone else smokes, or if you still have your stuff lying around, forget it. Remove it from your house. You have to keep busy, especially the first 24 hours and the week after. You have to be occupied with something. For me, the vlog occupied me quite a bit. I don't know, I think it's a great way to deal with it because it also creates accountability, but it's not for everyone. Like, maybe not everyone wants to reveal their addiction online. So you can just maybe do a sports challenge, try to learn the piano in a week. There's many things you can really get into. Just find something you can do for hours at an end. Get really into it, and obviously it's something you have to like. You have to create accountability, and that's a big one. Because when you've tried to stop smoking weed a couple of times and failed, what you've learned is... Sorry, I ate a lot. What you've programmed into your brain is that your conviction doesn't matter, that you're actually not following through with it anyway. And I know people who try to stop weed fail a lot. Whenever that happens, it changes something in your brain and it creates this situation where you don't trust yourself anymore. So I would tell myself every day that I won't stop tomorrow anymore. And I did that for a year, if not longer. I was devastated. And I've normally actually had a lot of willpower for working out, eating healthy and all that stuff. But with weed, I completely demolished it over time. At the end, I could not trust myself at all anymore. I was almost laughing at myself, which is not a good feeling whenever I said, okay, I'll quit tomorrow. So that's something that's probably affecting most. So you need to create this accountability. Start a post on Reddit, leave it, for example. You can go to a counselor, to drug meetings, to anonymous narcotics, or how they are called. That's something that could be very helpful as well. Without that, I think it's very difficult. If no one's watching you, if no one's asking you, okay, did you smoke yesterday? then why would you follow through with it? Unless you have very strong willpower. But as said, it's very likely that you've been demolishing that willpower with all the prior attempts to stop smoking weed. You have to expect discomfort. The first 24 hours, week even, will be very uncomfortable. You feel bad, you will be depressed, you will question whether or not that's your identity. It's actually very common to think in that phase that you are in fact depressed because you forgot how you were before you started smoking weed, and that weed was just your medication, so you're just self-medicating. Honestly, like in the first week I was thinking of calling in with a shrink, get medication. Like I would never take medication normally, but I was so devastated about my mental state, about my depression, which I thought is me, that I even considered that. Thankfully, I didn't, and after a week, it slowly subsided. I'm not depressed. The weed made me depressed. So that's something you really have to deal with, and it's hard. It's very easy to think you're prepared for that, but when it then actually hits you, it's very hard to deal with. And there are certain things you can do to mitigate that. For example, to meditate. I don't know if that's your thing, but to sit down and just focus on your breath, maybe download an app or something, or meditating by walking around, not even listening to music, but just the sound of nature, observing the trees, the plants, birds, or whatever. That's something that's really helpful to distract you from your depression or negative emotions. It's essential because otherwise you will just fall even deeper into this black hole and eventually probably give in and smoke again. That's what happened with me countless times. Just always remember, weed made us very light-skinned. It created this bubble, this cushion for life. All the emotions, all the bad feelings we normally feel and deal with were mitigated by the weed. So weed was your crutch to handle all the negative shit life throws at you. And once you take away that crutch, you feel weak, and you are weak. Suddenly you have to find other ways to deal with it. As said, meditation, sports is very helpful. But at the end of the day, you gotta realize that's something you have to go through. And you can do it. You are stronger than that. Just weed, the lack of weed makes you think that you are not able to handle life, that you need this crutch to get through life. But you don't. It's just the first couple of days you really have to go through these very negative emotions, and then it will gradually and then rapidly get better. I promise. You can do this. You're stronger. You're much stronger than you think you are in that phase of the withdrawal symptoms. Feel the emotions. Embrace them. It's something you haven't felt in a long time, and it will go away. But it's very important that you don't try to fight it. You've been suppressing it for such a long time. It just needs to come out. So let it be and handle it. Handle life. Endure it. You can do it. That's how you overcome that. And always remember that these negative thoughts and emotions are not you. It's not your identity. It's the withdrawal symptoms. Maybe you are depressed, but you're not in a position to judge that in the first week, because at that point of time, it's very likely withdrawal symptoms. Try to stay sober for 4 weeks. Then you can actually see your true emotions and how you handle them. And then you can reassess whether or not you are actually depressed and what to do against it. But before that, just the withdrawal symptoms. And you have to go through them. There's no way around it. Another way to help me through that stage is to envision all the good things that will happen once you sober up. All the energy you will have, the glow that will come back, the dark rings under your eyes that will disappear. Life will be very much better than it is while you're stoned all the time and hiding from life, essentially. And the price is to handle these emotions, these strong emotions when they first come up. After that, you'll feel much better. So just picture yourself once you're sober. You will start dreaming again. You will have a better mood and sleep better, eat healthier. That's what's waiting for you down the line. After the first week already. Set you up as cozy as you can. For example, go to a sauna, take holiday from work, do something you really like, cook tea, get blankets, listen to nice music, get a good book, start a new nightly routine to relax. That's all stuff that's very individual. But the first 24 hours, in my opinion, everything except for maybe other drugs or alcohol is allowed. Make it as cozy and as nice as you can. Write a journal. I think that's very important. You have to get in touch with your emotions. You have to get in touch with your inner workings. You have to understand why you've actually been smoking all that time, why you've become addicted in the first place. That's crucial to staying sober. For me, very helpful for that is so-called morning pages. So you wake up first thing in the morning, you start writing 3 pages, no matter what. Only rule, it has to be 3 pages. At first you will write random shit, how you slept or how your day was, but then eventually you will tap into your unconsciousness and you will learn a lot about yourself. So personally, I've been smoking weed because I was lacking comfort, the comfort of home, homeliness, the feeling of homeliness ever since I was a child and throughout my adult life as well. And I've been substituting that with weed. Now, if I want to smoke weed, I know where it comes from and what my body or mind is actually trying to achieve, which is this feeling of homeliness, comfort, safety. I never had the feeling of safety as a child. Being aware of that really helped me to mitigate these feelings, to start other routines that help me to experience these feelings I'm lacking. It's not perfect and I'm still lacking those, but I've just become aware also through my journaling that weed doesn't help me with that at all. It's just helping me to ignoring. And becoming sober was the first step for me to really tackle them and to really find lasting solutions for this lack of safety and homeliness in my life. And for everyone, that's different. It's very important to understand why we've become addicted. And journaling, I think, is a great way to do that. Okay, that's all I got spontaneously. If I come up with something else, I'll do another video. But last, let me tell you, if you fail, don't beat yourself up. Just try again. Every time you fail means you've at least tried to stop. I failed so many times and eventually it made click. And now I'm sober and I will stay sober. And it's a great feeling. And you can do it too. Just be patient. Don't beat yourself up. Try it with conviction. But if you fail, just try again. Every day if you must. One day you will succeed. You can do it. I believe in you. If you have any other tips to share, please comment. Would be very much appreciated. We all have different reasons for smoking and different ways to quit. So let's share them and help each other out. All the best, guys.